So today we'll be working in my workbook called Exodus from Egypt, which covers Exodus chapters 1 through 12. We have already worked on chapter 1, which sets the stage. We understand it's about 350 years since the end of Genesis, sets the stage. The Israelites are enslaved, the children of Israel. And then in chapter 2, Moses now is born, and we see him being put in the Nile in an ark. The daughter of Pharaoh finds him and raises him as an Egyptian, and then he is concerned about his Hebrew brethren, kills an Egyptian who is beating a Hebrew, and then runs to Midian because the Pharaoh wants to kill him. So that's where we were in chapter 2. So now we're going to be doing chapter 3, Moses' life in Midian. Let me go there. Chapter 3, Moses' life in Midian. Exodus 2:15 through chapter 2:25. So the scriptures continue. Exodus 2:15. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and they filled their troughs to water their father's flock. Then the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. In Midian, what did he sit down by? A well, while he was thirsty. Who was the father of the 7 sisters? Priest of Midian. Later, we will discover his name is both Jethro and Ruel. Why both, we don't know. Why did the 7 sisters come to the well? They came to draw water to feed their flock. Who drove the daughters of the priest away? Shepherds, male shepherds that wanted water. They would push the women away so they could get their water first. Who helped the 7 sisters? Moses did. Do you think Moses looked like an Egyptian or a Hebrew? Why or why not? He probably is still dressed like an Egyptian. That's what he's known most of his life. So the scriptures continue. Exodus 2:18. When they came to Ruel, their father, he said, "How is it that you have come so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us from the hands of the shepherds, and he also drew enough water for us and watered the flock." So he said to his daughters, "And where is he? Why is it that you left the man? Call him that he may eat bread." What is the priest's name? Ruel. Why is it that he's surprised to see his daughters? Because they took a whole lot less time watering the flock than they normally do. Did the daughters see Moses as an Egyptian or Hebrew? He saw him as an Egyptian, so he's still dressed as an Egyptian. What did the priest ask his daughters to do regarding Moses? To call him so that he can break bread with the daughters. I mean, he's got 7 daughters. He may very well be looking at this as it could be a man for his daughters, but also hospitality wise, the Egyptian did a good deed for the daughters. They should have asked him for a meal. So the scriptures continue. But then Moses was content to live with the man, and he gave Zipporah, his daughter, to Moses, and she bore him a son. He called his name Gershom, for he said, "I've been a stranger in a foreign land." Now it happened in the process of time that the king of Egypt died. And we will learn that Zipporah is one of the older of the 7 sisters. Who did Moses live with? He lived with the priest of Midian and his 7 daughters. Who did Moses marry? Zipporah. What was his son's name? Gershom. What is the meaning of his son's name? I'm a stranger in a foreign land. While Moses was in Midian, what happened to the king of Egypt? The king of Egypt died. So do the math. Okay, so do the math. We always have a lot of math here. Who was the Pharaoh when Moses fled Egypt? Well, I don't know. Okay. Who was the Pharaoh when Moses fled to Egypt? Let's look. When Moses fled to Midian, the Pharaoh was Tutmos III. And he was, okay. What is the earliest year that Moses could have fled to Egypt? That was 1482. The first year of Tutmos. Let's just see. Maybe not 1482. Bear with me. Okay. So 1482 was the earliest year Moses could have fled to Egypt. And then, what is the earliest year that Moses could have fled to Egypt? 1482, right. Subtract the year the new Pharaoh started his reign. 1447, the next Pharaoh. How many years has it been since Moses left Egypt? It's been about 35 years. So how old is Moses now? So if he's 45, 35, he's 80. Okay. So scriptures continue. Exodus 2:23b. Then the children of Israel groaned because of the bondage, and they cried out. And their cry came up to God because of their bondage. So God heard their groaning, and God remembered his servant, his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God acknowledged them. Again, why were the children of Israel slaves? Because the Egyptians had made them slaves to control them because they were so big and mighty versus the Egyptian men. How long had they been slaves? So we're looking at the age of Moses being at least how long they've been slaves, probably a little longer than that, but 80 years. So 3, they cried out, and their cry came up to God because of their bondage. This means they prayed and their prayers were heard from God. What was the covenant God had with Abraham, Isaac, and with Jacob? So see the scripture below. Genesis 15:18. On the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, to your descendants, I have given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. So the covenant God had made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was the land that they were supposed to have. Are the Israelites presently blessed? No, they are not. Are they presently in the land they were promised? No, they were not. So basically, God is using a way to get them out of Egypt and back into the land of promise. So we get to the end of this chapter, Moses' life in Midian. So, how many daughters did the priest of Midian have? So number 3 would be 7. Number 5, who tried to drive the 7 sisters away from the well? That would be shepherds. Number 7, what did Moses name his son? Gershom. 1 down. Now it happened in the process of time that the Pharaoh of Egypt died, or the king of Egypt died. 2, Reuel's other name is Jethro. Number 4, who did Moses marry? Zipporah. And 6, Moses sat down by a well in Midian. So that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.